Comanche Nation, we come to General Council and we generally do nominations and we do appointments, and then we're rushed to do the budget, and someone says, pass the budget. Well, this year we're just trying to be relevant to what you vote on. I got to give it up, and I'm going to look at the camera here. I got to give it up to this past year of all these employees that did come forward. Our tribal administrator, every one of you that served your people. We had a full audit on federal money, a full audit on gaming monies that come to the programs, a full audit on everything, every program. We had no findings but one. We had one finding. Make sure you write this down, Gabby. That one finding was for our federal money. We needed bank accounts for each one of our federal monies. So what did we do? Jimmy, we opened accounts for each federal program. That was our only finding. Now, it's really rare to go from overspend, misappropriation, to a perfect budget, but that's what happened for fiscal year 2016. Hopefully, the Comanche Nation people can see the value in that. Well, let's go to our 2018 proposed budget. Here we are. The Tax Commission, years past, would give us maybe $2 million 8 years ago, $2.2 million 7 years ago, about $2.9 million 6 years ago. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, 5 years ago, went to $1 million. 4 years ago, 800,000. 3 years ago, 800,000. Up until this point. So how and what in the world happened for this nation to get 3.473? I'll tell you how. As a business committee and as the administrator here, this is your money. We don't go to a tax commission or any tax agency and take out a loan or go borrow off it or flat out just say, give us the money. When the Tax Act was formed, it was formed to take care of the government. At that time, the Tax Act money, a little bit of bingo money, and of course our 20% funds, which came from the 1976 settlement, was only monies that serviced the tribe. Historic year, 3.473. As you can see, we're trying for relevancy to what is on the guise of this nation. PIO is very prevalent to be in the admin. Transit, you've seen transit and transportation, very relevant. Chairman's salary, CBC salary. I sure don't like Tombstone Project. Can we just say headstone? Can we say headstone? Headstone. So, let's go to the next one. Here we go. This is your projected 40%. We voted on 60% in the year 2010. It was called Resolution GC 2010-01. We approved 60% to go to our people in the form of a revenue allocation plan, individual per capita. Well, I guess it didn't get done. 11 didn't get done, 12 didn't get done, 13 didn't get done, 14 didn't get done, 15 didn't get done. Well, I've been talking to the awarding bureau officials, and I wrote a rap back when we voted on it, Mr. Tipicani, for 60%. And I didn't submit it. Why? Because I was told if you're going to overspend your budget and you're complicit to your actual agreement with the federal government on your revenue allocation plan, how can we approve it? You cannot overrun your gaming money. You can't overspend it. You made an agreement with the federal government how you're going to do it. Don't overspend it. And it was overspent quite a bit the last 4 years. So we already know our largest growing population is elders. We already know that precedents always said we give $1 million to the elders. I already know we're going to have to give 1.9. And we're going to bring that to the General Council to make sure that happens like that. We have the money for that. But of course, 40% is for the individual per capita. And that's every member, from just born all the way to 109. Is there someone 109? I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next one. Tribal government, the 10% of gaming money. Administration, elections. If you notice, elections has gone way down. Why is that? Well, when you use a great outsource that has impartiality and is professional and doesn't have no Comanche Nation ties, it's very feasible, and it's turnkey, and it's relevant. It is so relevant this year, Comanche Nation. I'll tell you how relevant this election will be. When the referendum vote ballots come back, we are live streaming this nice professional group right here. We're going to live stream the official count. Now, how relevant and transparent is that? I think it's so transparent, I think I'm going to call USA Today, CNN, and say this is how a democracy is run. Am I being cavalier up here? No. The thing is this. If we can't, us Comanches, we were leaders. When we wanted something, we'd take it. When we'd go through someone's boundary, we just rode through it. This is really historic to do that. We can do that. Dustin has met with True Ballot from Bethesda, Maryland, and they said, you know what? We can do that. Live stream the official count. People hear crookedness, stuffing the ballot, all this other stuff. How can you do anything when you're live streamed on the official count? There you go. Law enforcement, they're on here. Our lawyer, firefighters, IT. Okay, next one. Here we go to our 25%. Now this one always has puzzled me. I've always argued with so many people. We told the federal government, economic development, we want 25% of that whole budget to create businesses or something that would allow our people to be employed. Have we done that? We haven't yet. Not once. Not once. Honestly, that $14.8 million should go to new businesses. But for us to get a jump start on new businesses, we decided collectively to put $2.4 million to new businesses. Water park is kind of, it's there, been there. But look at tourism center. Does it make money? Children's court, is it a money maker? No. You know what, Jimmy? Water park's on there twice. Why is that? That's that twice budget Willie, huh? Okay. We'll make that modification. Workforce, very relevant. That is very relevant. But the thing is this, do we need more workers at the complex? I don't think so. So the plan is to go down where the college structure is to put workforce investment there. We got to get our people in the private sector. We got to make the education center relevant to, hey, do you want to get CLEAT? We're going to be a CLEAT certified place. We have a testing center down there. We got Texas teachers being tested to get their certification at that structure that is now in trust. We actually have a media center that's state of the art. These are things to keep. The GED program, it is relevant, got to keep it. So, with that said, workforce will go down there. Realty, management, water planning, land management. Yeah, that's about our assets. Land acquisitions, yes, assets. Cries, that doesn't make money. So what I'm saying about this, we have all these programs, but we cannot be a dictator, an autocratic person and say, you're moved off because you don't fit underneath 25%. And that's how it's gone. There's just been more programs that's been developed. So our revenue allocation plan will have to be changed. It will be changed. And I have to bring that question to General Counsel. Do we combine most of these programs that are in economic development to put them into that category of community and education and increase community education to 40%? Now that makes sense. That makes good business sense. Optometry, it doesn't make money. Assisted living, we're going to make it relevant. I'm going to announce what the business committee and I have started to do. Nora shared the finances she has down there. She's been a good steward of the housing money. There is one grant that we can match, which is building singular residences for elders, for a living community. If we can get this done with 2 great roads and make the Living Assisted Center relevant with 25 nice singular homes for either married elders, single elders, hopefully the elders center over there on H. Ave is getting really old. Maybe we can move where it becomes an elder community. It's an idea. And the thing is, if we can't do it, at least we can try. We can try to do it, because right now we have 9 people living in a $1 million budget item. Okay, capital improvement. Louis gave a pretty good presentation, and if you'll look out here to the north, and I wish our cameras could go out there, your Comanche Nation Court is being built. The slab is poured, the skeleton frame's up, and the codifying of the court is happening. Jimmy has a court team that hired a super professional. But what we need is 3 other people from the outside community, a Juris Doctorate, somebody going to law school. I see that we need someone from the outside to help the inside that might have some insight. And I know we can do that, right, Jimmy? Can we? All right. Well, this one they hired, he has such a great background. How many courts has he codified? About 12? 12? Something like that? Okay, great. Early childhood development. Yeah, we collect fees, but it's a break even. Comanche Nation housing, yeah, that's an asset. Prevention and recovery. Next year, we got to get into community and education. We got to move in that direction. We got to mature as a tribe. But I can't do that. This is not a dictatorship. You do not have a socialist or fascism going on here. Might have in the past, I can't say that, but I did. This is a legal quorum of the people that is the power. The people are the power. Hopefully you'll understand what I said about us live streaming our election, that you'll get involved in the election. Hopefully you'll see the value in a court when we have a situational problem like an election. We go to a retired federal judge, right? north of Woodgie here. He says, you know what? Your ordinance doesn't call for it. That's wrong. That's right. Settled. Boom. Hits the gavel. There you go. Civil court. Okay, let's move to the next one. I had to make this a little smaller. This is our community and education. Our community centers are in there. Generally, the right items are in here. There's some newer items here. Newer. For some reason, we had a 14-year project, and 3 years ago, they got a qualification, and it was called Candidacy for Accreditation, and they called itself the Comanche Nation College. On December 1st, unbeknownst to the business committee, the tribal council, or the administrator, they withdrew their candidacy of accreditation. The business committee and our legal quorum, we all decided to meet with the Board of Trustees and to get the true answer. And the sad thing is, I've been waiting for the Board of Trustees to give an answer to the tribal council, because they formed a charter, but that answer's having to come to us. Everybody can point fingers. Half of the Board of Trustees are people that inherited a situation. I believe the doctor today, she inherited a situation. But knowing that we put $29 million in this project over the years, and that's including capital expenditures, capital improvement, you would think they would have came to tribal council or asked us to call for a special tribal council, or better yet, just call us and say they did that. That would have been the best thing to do. So with that said, they have a board. You know, they have this curriculum, I guess. But the thing is this, that we have a building, and the greatest thing that happened in that property is that it was put in trust. And it's an education facility. So the business committee and I, we decided, let's make it a Comanche Nation Education Center. That one stop where a child, be it kindergarten through 12th grade, we don't want our children to go to SCORE. SCORE is a place where, well, I don't know if I'm going to go to prison, and I don't know if I'm going to just get kicked out of school. We don't want that. I don't want that. I want our children to go to a place where it's their first step for the rest of their lives, where we engage them, where a senior can be gone through a FAFSA review on how to do it, walk them through the steps, or better yet, someone that works with their hands. Don't you know, plumbing, carpentry, electricians are needed right now. We can assess all these things. We can assess. We can bring our higher education program down there. We have a great testing center. We have an auditorium. And guess what? We would have mentors. Mentors. We got so many educators here. Educators throughout our nation that teach, that love teaching. I visited with Dr. Cornell Pewardy yesterday for breakfast. And he told me, he said, Willie, you're on the cusp of doing something that we should have done from the start. When Gabby talks about strategy and planning, yes, there should have been a big plan for this education, a big plan, a 3-year plan. So what Dr. Pewardy was talking about, let's keep on with this summit activity. Let's have a think tank. He said, instead of sitting here and having programs come up here at Woodgie Hall, we have a round table, put it down, transcribe it, and come with a suitable plan for educators that love their nation enough to do such a thing. So we thought of a date of April 29th to do that. what is it going to do? People that sat back and said, oh, the tribe's going to do what they want anyway, especially educators, if they could come and share, help us with this. Can you please help us with this? You know, I'm going to quote a man here in this room. He say people are down on what they're not up on. I think if we're up on a great plan for higher education, then entertain this college idea. You still have your board. Okay? Later on, entertain it. Give yourself a hiatus. Because we're going to keep going. But we got to engage our children. We got to take our kids from the youth program. We can't come here and play around in here. Youth program has to bring them down there. Let's get some tutoring done. You know, there's just so many things we can do. All right, moving forward. Jimmy, can you explain adult education? Where did Jimmy go? Adult education. Come on over. It's a new item, so I explained the first new item, Education Center. It's right here on the bottom. Adult education, $191K.
Okay, well, in years past, the higher education was clumped to include the adult education and where was the other one? Job placement training. So adult education is where a lot of our elders are able to come and take classes with learning how to operate the computer. So it's specifically for, you know, our tribal members that are at the adult age to improve their training skills. And then the job placement and training is another component of that. So they were always just clumped under higher education, but this year they're split so that the people actually know what they're voting on.
Very good. Okay. I think it was beneficial. Now it has its own line item. There's two items that are not on this budget this year. One is TARO, for the fact that each year it's put on, it's just voted off. TARO should be an administrative duty anyway. It shouldn't be a line item. I was hoping that Comanche Nation Construction would be here today, but we have found 3 new board members. It took a long time, and hopefully we can add them on to the 2 remaining board members. They gave me a figure to say the dividend they were going to give us, but I would have loved them to come in here and tell you that, because I don't know, they might not give the figure. It is a charter. This charter was Comanche Nation Enterprises Incorporated. Now it's, you know, they have all these contractual jobs from Los Alamos to Fort Smith to Florida, Altus, all over. And the relevancy of this idea of Comanche Nation construction, we're going to have this board bring it to us, tell us where they're at, tell us what kind of dividend they're going to give the nation. It's been 4.5 years, no dividend has been made. And the charter calls for them to tell us what their plan is for the next year. They're not on our budget, but I would love for them to come explain themselves. The other item not on the budget is the Shoshone reunion. We had our precursor meetings, and no group was formulated as of yet. So hopefully at General Council, somebody can bring that up. And this is live stream. Well, the business committee didn't have nobody in our precursor budget meeting. That's where we formulate a budget. So, you know, I've seen it on the budget every year. So if you're not at the budget hearing, I don't know what to do. So hopefully I'll put it on the agenda and see if the people want it or not. Again, I don't know. Yes.
Last night, our little gathering that we had here for the Comanche elders, we had over 100 people sign in. Now look at the people that you've got. Look at how many people are interested. We've had Shoshone meetings about 4 now.
Okay, I don't want to debate with you on that, ma'am. And the thing is, we'll ask general counsel because one person can't determine what something needs to be on the budget. So if we can go to the last slide, we can go to the last one. Okay, so the elders payment per capita distribution comes to 23.7. Tribal government comes to 5.9. Economic development comes to 14.8. And community and education comes to 14.8. And the big number from the tax supplement, 3.47. A historic year for the 50th annual meeting, our 50th annual meeting, believe that. We are bringing a budget of 62.759. And people, I appreciate your time. Thank you.